G'day and welcome to Harry's Big Shed. If you've never been here before, hope you enjoy what I get up to. If you have, well, you really know what you're in for. This time on Harry's Big Shed, I'm gonna get the Dash out of this truck. If it's the last thing I do, I don't care if it comes out in 15,000 pieces, it's gotta come out. We've got to get to the stuff behind the dash. We've got to get this thing cleaned up. You just can't leave it sitting around, and this is something for the uninitiated to keep in mind when you do buy an older vehicle like this. I mean, this one's only 27 years old, and I've owned vehicles that are much older than this, much newer too, that have also been a pain in the butt. You've got to understand that every man and his dog has potentially taken a crack at it and done the best they can with the little bit they've got. This one has some interesting challenges considering it's been converted from left-hand drive to right-hand drive. So there's going to be some differences there. If anyone's watching from the States, there's going to be some small differences between my truck and what you've got over there, so because the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the vehicle. But yeah, as I say, my mission is to get this dashboard out so I can get to the electricals, because they've just been absolutely maggoted over the years, and I want to make sure that once I start getting this thing back together, they're not going to be causing me any issues at all. So let's get into it. Problem when you're mucking around with a vehicle that someone else has already had a crack at. You've got to sort of try and get into their head to understand what they were thinking was a good idea at the time. Now look, at some point that switch has been busted and they're soldered on here, but I've got connectors in here that all appear to be coloured. They're all coloured the same way, so that's fine. This here was going to this switch that when I purchased the vehicle, it didn't work anything, so I'm tipping whatever that was connected to is no longer there. So that's headlight. This is dimmer. For some reason that was just floating around in the fascia, because the pins on the back of this are busted, so that's supposed to sit there. It's supposed to be screwed in, but obviously they've broken off, so that was just doing that. So I reckon I'm gonna surprise myself with a new one of these before it all goes back together. I've seen a lot of these C and K series trucks, they've just got a pocket in here. I think I'm gonna find one of them as well, because this radio will just never work in Australia because we always use different frequencies to the Yanks, and there was an aftermarket radio in the centre of the dash. It was a pretty crap install, but I'll probably end up putting a standard DIN unit in and working it out from there. Glove box out, and I've been through here. I don't think I need the old KFC wrappers or whatever these are, towelettes. What's this? Emergency key card. Secure. The remote alarm serial number. I don't think this vehicle has that fitted anymore. There's a couple of loaded on mask. mine. Don't know what that is. I don't think I'll keep it. Yeah, let's just chuck all this out. This looks like a 94-95 ECU jammed in here under the dash. Oh, God. So what was that other module sitting under the bloody engine? Because that looks like I've got a removable cover like the 94, 95 units that I've seen. This is really bloody confusing, but that doesn't want to slide out that hole there. I just want to go over this big pink plug. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have a really good think about this. Because that just makes things a whole lot more interesting, to say nothing else. Wow. I think I need a thinking drink. Initially looking for is supposed to be an under-dash module for the radio. I haven't found that yet. Let's wrestle with this bloody thing. See what's above that. There's one. They labelled one. I don't know why you'd have to label it. I mean, have a look. Like, if you couldn't tell which one goes where from there, there's got to be something drastically wrong with you. Now, this one. Yes, look at that. That has to come down. Remember, we don't want to break it. Okay, Leon Beachy. So that is the ECU that has the changeable EEPROM in it. But from my understanding, that is supposed to be under the bonnet. Oh my God, have I now got a conundrum on my hands. So when I started ripping everything out from under the dash, I honestly thought this was the ECU. And I thought that someone had obviously done an upgrade from a 94-95 ECU, because the ones I'd seen on Facebook, YouTube, all the research I'd done for 94-95 had a metal casing with a removable cover so you could change the program chip in it, and I simply thought that this was out of a 96 and onwards truck. There's no part numbers on it, there's no markings on it, it doesn't even tell me who manufactured it, but as I say, I thought that was the ECU. So then I come in here and I start pulling the dash apart and I'm going, oh no, what the hell is that? And lo and behold, 94, 95, GM 6.5 ECU, and there's the removable panel that I was talking about, and there's a program chip under there. Now, by the look of it, at some point this has been to Heath Diesel. I can't tell you what problem is in it. I haven't opened it up as yet. All I know is it's now doing my head in, so I've got to find out what this is and whether this should really be under the dash, because it was just sort of sitting there, jammed up in amongst other stuff. It wasn't on a bracket or anything like that. Like, there's a couple of push pins at this end, but it just means I got a hell of a lot of learning to do about what's going on with this truck. If someone can let me know what this actually is it another ECU? Have I had two ECUs plugged into this truck? But like, it wouldn't make sense for that to be, there's very few pins on that. Yeah, I'm at a loss at the moment, but yeah, I'll have to find out a bit more about it. It's just so confusing. So confusing. We will get there. This truck will run again under my custodianship. Might take a few more episodes than I thought it would, but it's gonna run. So I've got a feeling that, because this radio, that's actually two parts. There's two parts to it. So there's this head unit, and that's wired into the actual radio itself. I've got a feeling that's sitting somewhere down in the center of this dash. So I'm thinking if I get all the nuts and bolts and screws out of the dash, I should be able to bring the whole thing forward and get to it. I mean, I've got no intention of ever installing this radio again, because it's never going to work here, because they use different frequencies in the States, and I'm not really interested to find out if I can get a control unit that's programmed for local frequencies, because I'm going to use an aftermarket stereo anyway. Looks like it was the last screw at the top, and should have one 13mm bolt down the bottom here. And that should be it. If I can see the damn thing. And because this truck is so big, I've got to walk all the way around to get the touch. Stupid bracket on it. It slides down on a pin. I really don't want to remove the whole steering column. That's an issue. Oh, that's no good. Oh, shit. Now I'm in trouble. Oh, hopefully this will all just come out so easy, so easy. so you know what you're doing. That wasn't so hard, was it? Don't want to make such a fuss about it. So the way this has been done, you can see the sections have been cut out and then fiberglassed back in, with that whole top section being fiberglass. I've got a whole bunch of cracks. There's that big one that goes all the way through. Fortunately, a lot of the other cracks seem superficial on the front. I don't know what I'm going to do with that vent there, how I'm going to repair that. But yeah, it's not all that problematic behind here. You can see they've obviously swapped over. They've cut the left and right hand sides off, and you can see all the fiberglass that's been put in there before it's been painted. So look, it's just another one of those small jobs that needs to be done that I'll probably be able to work on while I'm doing something else. And yeah, it should all go back fairly easily. This was the biggest pain in the butt, trying to get this open, because there was wiring that runs through there. The original radio control unit, that's not going back in. I've got to buy a new panel to go around the dash cluster, and I think I can order them up with a pocket where the radio goes. So I'll do that, and I'm thinking that'll be a good spot to end up putting, you know, like an EGT and pressure gauge for the turbo. And yeah, but that's out at least. So as you can see, I've got the whole dash out. Yay me! And it came out in one piece. I was really concerned that because the whole top of it is fiberglass, it was going to crack and break and yeah, leave me in all sorts of mess. But it's out. I mean, I've got some repairs to do. It already had a couple of big cracks in it, so I'll have to work out how to do that. I guess I'm going to learn all about fiberglass in the near future. Having a look at all this wiring, it appears that there's like a major trunk that goes from the ECU and a couple of other connectors out through the firewall. So I'm going to see if I can remove that as one piece and then work on just removing as much of the aftermarket stuff as I possibly can from in the cabin. So that way it'll remove any possibility of having weird and wonderful little electrical gremlins. I've got, you know, wiring that's, I'm not too sure what it is. I'll probably have to pull a lot of this interior trim out just to work out what it's for. Like I got this broken wire here. You know, was that for the dome light? Was it for the rear sliding window? I just don't know. I know the rear window didn't work. I never really actually took any notice of whether the dome light worked or not. But yeah, I think we've made some really good progress here, and I can actually now start on cleaning up that engine bay. I want to get the wiring out, and then the plan is to remove like all the steering and front suspension and clean all that up and replace whatever parts need to be replaced. You know, basically give that a good reco, so that once I do get this up and running again, we'll basically be able to drive it straight away. So yeah, that's about it from me. Thank you very much. Remember to subscribe, leave a comment if you like what I'm doing, if you don't like what I'm doing, if you think I could do a better job of it. That'd be great. I really do appreciate the feedback. I love hearing back from people. I've already had an invite to catch up with another fellow Chevy truck owner in New South Wales, and hopefully I'll be able to get there one day. Yeah, thanks for watching Harry's Big Shed.